I never thought I would see the day when people that I personally know, I would see them celebrating on Facebook the death and assassination of Charlie Kirk. And basically saying, I'm not going to feel bad for what happened to him, and he had it coming. I feel like this video is a video that I have to make. And it's a video that I can't just make another money video or budgeting video because this is a finance channel, but I can't do anything else until I do this video because it feels like if I did that, I would just be ignoring something massive that happened, and that is the assassination of Charlie Kirk that happened on September 10th. He died at age 31, and the person that apparently did this was about 22 years old. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you when this happened, I was just full of rage. I was empowered. I wanted to go out there and just fight. The answer is no. What I really felt in that moment was, first of all, I thought the news was actually fake. When I saw it on Facebook, I was like, this has to be fake. Because just the day before, I was watching some of Charlie Kirk's content and I was just like, these conversations are good, but they just feel like you kind of get tired of saying the same thing, the same thing, the same thing, and you don't really feel like you're making a difference. But I was wrong because Charlie Kirk was definitely making a difference. And there are a lot of people that are being impacted. And as a Christian, our job is not to change people, it's just to plant a seed and then just let God work. But that's the first thing I thought. I thought it was just basically fake. The second thing that happened was when I realized it was real, I just felt fear. I was literally, not gonna lie to you guys, I felt afraid. As you guys know, I've been living in Dominican Republic now for a while. Right now, I'm staying in Oklahoma. I am in the US, I have my family here, and whenever I hear news like this, I'm just like, what is going on? It's the richest country in the entire world, the most resources, the most opportunities. Everyone wants to go there. So why are there so many issues in the country? And by the way, I am a US citizen, so I will refer to it as in our country. Why are there so many issues in our country? And the first thing was basically fear, but then after that, I was just a little upset, honestly. Not a little, I was really upset. And I was just super sad. It almost made me like just want to cry. And I called some friends over and we had like the same exact feeling. Like we just couldn't believe it. But that's actually what happened. Now, in this video, first I want to issue out an apology. And just basically say, my condolences to his wife, to the parents, to the children, because they didn't just lose like a man, an individual, someone that I used to watch on the internet. No, they lost a son, they lost a father, and she lost her husband. But I want to apologize because to their children when they grow up, that is not what God's love actually looks like. That is not a fair representation of it at all. And one big thing is I don't want to come on here because you guys know, right? I make videos about money and finance all the time. But I've never really said, you know what? I am a conservative. I am a liberal. I stand with this person. I stand with that person. Because who I stand with is God and the Bible and his authority. Whoever is in line with that, I'm usually going to kind of go more with them. But I'm not in the game of picking sides and dividing because what I've learned is if you can divide a household, you can literally conquer it. I mean, that is literally a strategy of war. If you divide a nation, it is a lot easier to conquer it. So I'm not here to tell you, these people on this side, they're evil. These people on this side, well, they are the saints. The answer is that's not my job. That's not what I'm going to do. I know I have brothers on this side, I have brothers on that side, and what I'm trying to go against is the lies, the fake ideology, the idea that you have to think that if you have a disagreement with someone, if you don't agree with their views, instead of going ahead and trying to get the information to then combat them in a debate or in an argument or in a conversation and then kind of make them see that light and say, hey, you know what, I was wrong about that. But instead to go ahead and take arms and basically assassinate a son, a father, a husband because they have different views than you. Whether those views are actually, some people can say certain things and they can hurt you, and that's fine. I understand that. But it still does not give you the right to go ahead and take someone's life. And that's my big thing. So if you're watching this video and you are upset or you're sad, mad, angry, whatever it is, with everything that's going on at this very moment, I will tell you this, okay? It's fine. You can have your emotions. And that's why, for the most part, I waited. This happened September 10th. I think right now is September 16th. I waited almost about a week to make a video about this because in the heat of a moment is not really where you want to talk about heavy subjects when you have all that emotion raging inside of you, when you have all these ideas and all this other stuff, especially with all the things that are coming out now and people saying this and people saying that. The truth is, do not let this moment divide us more as a nation. If you have friends that think differently than you do, well, go and ask them questions with facts. And by the way, this is definitely one of those things that kind of divide you because, you know, I honestly can't tell you I agree with everything that Charlie Kirk basically says, but for the most part, I agree with a lot of what he said. But I don't know everything he said, because this guy has he had a ton of content, a ton of views out there. But most of the things that he had to say that were biblical, I strongly held, and I strongly defend, and I strongly respect, and I honor that he had the courage to go out there and say it. But my advice is, if you have a difference with someone and you don't see things the same way, think critically. Do not submit and do not just basically hug and just grab any ideology or any idea that somebody else put in you and just basically say, I believe in this because somebody else said it. No, think critically and think, basically just go deep into it and analyze it. And that's one of the main things I like so much about Charlie Kirk, that it wasn't just, well, I think this, I feel this. It was based on the research. This is what I found. What is your response based on the facts? And if you could give him facts, you could change his mind. If you could just give him opinions or lies, you're not going to change his mind. So moving forward, I think this movement of Charlie Kirk, it wasn't just like his movement. I think it was a God movement for the most part because this man spread the gospel a lot. He spoke about God a lot. He had political views and leaning towards a side. And that's because right now, that's usually the side that's more in line with those views. But I am not here to divide our people further. I'm not here to pick a side and call these people bad and call these people good. No one is good. And we all know that. But if we are all neighbors, because we are neighbors and we have more in common, I saw a video on this, and this guy basically said it. You have more in common with the so called liberals that you disagree with than with the higher ups that have all these big ideas and whatever. You have more in common with your neighbor that you don't think the same on with certain subjects or whatever. So do not be afraid to have those tough conversations with them. And when you do have those tough conversations with them, do it with grace. Because even the ideas that I hold, the ideas that you may hold, they're not ideas that you were just born with. There were ideas and foundations that someone else taught them to you. And in a moment, again, our job is not to change anybody's mind. I hold a lot of what Charlie Kirk basically said. I agree on a lot of it, honestly. But that doesn't mean that at every single point in my life I'd agree with it. The answer is no. When I was living in New York, I was super liberal, although I did not know. But I just thought it was like the normal thing. But when I read the Bible and I start rendering my authority over to God, I see things differently. And that takes time. So our job is not to change people, to critique people, to judge people. Although judging is not a bad thing because it is you challenging someone and showing them the truth, but it's just you going ahead and sharing the evidence with someone and letting the evidence actually work in them. Taking arms against someone isn't going to change their mind. Doing something like this isn't going to simmer things down. If anything, more people know Charlie Kirk today than they probably ever would if that would have never happened. And that's a good thing. So, like it says in the Bible, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. Guys, thank you for spending this time with me on this video. I'm not making this video because it's the hot topic. That's part of the reason why I waited a while to make this video, honestly. So it's not that. But if you do feel scared, that it's normal. But that doesn't mean if you're scared and you're silent, guess what? That's not okay. You have to speak up. You have to share. And it takes some bravery to do it. But silence is also an answer. I'll see you guys next time. Back to the normal videos. Thank you for spending this time with me. Again, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Condolences to the people that lost a son, that lost a husband, and his children that also lost a father. Goodbye.